Right.
And it may take them longer to do other things, but those are also the times where we get to see their gifts and get to see the things that they are absolutely like a genius about that the average person wouldn't.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Confessions of an Autism Mom. I am Amanda, and I have another amazing mom with us this week. Her name is Kay. How are you doing today, Kay?
I am truly blessed, truly blessed.
That is good to hear. So today, Kay is going to share her journey with her son and how they navigate through life with autism. She has a teen son, so this is going to be a very interesting interview. So Kay, go ahead and start and tell us a little bit about yourself and your son.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. So
And thank
thank
you
you
for
so much for
coming.
your time.
Of
Um,
course.
I guess I will go ahead and start with I have over 20 years experience in the event coordination industry. And one may think, well, what the heck does that have to do with anything? For me, it provided me with a lot of skill sets that I was able to apply in my life, both before my son was born and then when he was born. Of those 20 years, 15 of those was serving the city of Modesto as an events coordinator.
Okay.
And when the pandemic hit, everything in life kind of changed for a lot of us. For me, it was an opportunity to make a change in my career. So at that point, I left the industry of event coordinating and with an employer I had been with for 15 years and decided to join real estate. And at that time, the individual that I was dating, which is now my husband, took me in and taught me some things about real estate and operations. And from there, it led me to being a Reiki practitioner, a holistic practitioner. And I know people may think like, well, how is she making all of these shifts? And that's the journey. That's the journey of being a mom, of being a woman and a wife. Is sometimes you have no idea where you're supposed to go. I'm on this ride and I'm loving it, but I tell you, my holistic practice is what brings the balance to my life for me to be able to do all of these things that I do. Especially with my son Kingston, who is 16 years old, on the autism spectrum, and we like this. That is my guy.
Oh, I love that. That's how I feel about Aiden.
Mhm.
At what age did you get him diagnosed?
He was 3. He
Okay.
was 3. Yes.
Okay. And what signs did you see during that time to make you, get that diagnosis?
Yes. Thank you for that question, because that's really where it all begins, right?
Okay.
Is having that conversation with yourself that something's not quite right here, and what do I do with it? For me, those things were delayed speech. At the age he was, comparing him to, which I know we shouldn't, but sometimes that's all we have access to, comparing
Yeah.
him to other individuals in my family. Um, he wasn't speaking full sentences just yet. It was very, very minimal. And then I also was very observant with his playtime, the things he chose to play with and how he played with them. And one of the things that I remember specifically was him being very attached, glued into, consumed by anything with wheels. He wanted to be in that wheel. So I was like, this is very interesting. And for me, like I said, I have been on a journey with my career, and I had worked with children for 6 years, and at a before and after school program. And I had been around children on the spectrum before. So it crossed my mind like, I wonder if he's on the autism spectrum. And I waited and I said, you know what, it's time, because how good of a mother am I to delay the process of getting him what he needs? So let's at least find out. Yeah, that was where it all started from, just paying attention to the the things he chose to play with and how he was playing with those things.
Yeah. And I love how you say like it wasn't comparison, but I always look at it like we don't like to say it, but we can't help but observe the other
That's right.
kids that are around our
Yes.
babies, because I noticed, like, compared to my best friend's son, like, and
Hmm.
he was younger than Aiden was a little just different. So it
Yes.
raised like my antennas. I was like, yeah, something,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know. How did you feel back then? Because I know now it's totally different from when your son was 3. So so many resources, so many stories to relate to now. How did you feel back then?
At that time, um, I thought I was ready. I thought I was emotionally ready for what was to come. I had no idea. I had no idea what was to come. And when someone is delivering a message to you about the state, the being, the future of your child, it's very difficult because we all want the best for our children. So I thought I was emotionally ready because I had already kind of worked with children on the spectrum before, but it's different when it's your own. And it's different when you don't have the resources. It's different when you're just unaware, like, what do I do? So I had to really get my emotions in check. That was the first thing. I knew that you are not emotionally ready for this, but it's okay. It is okay. So that is something that I remember very, very early on. Like, you got to manage your emotions. And that's still with me to this day. That's as a parent, it's not something that really just goes away. You think you're getting better at it, and before you know it, now it's another milestone. So it's another set of challenges that's to come, right?
Yeah. So with that, he's older now.
Hmm.
I One of my friends recently, she was like, once they hit puberty, is going to be another shift and a change. Did you see a shift and change?
Yes, yes. I seen a lot of shifts and changes. And it's not something that you can prepare for, because those shifts and changes, they can be good or bad, right? And these various milestones, from getting the diagnosis to, okay, what do I do now, to moving to a place where, oh, now I'm getting some support. Now he's in the right classroom, or he's with the right teacher, and I'm connected to the right regional center. But still, like, mom, like, I really don't really know like what I can do on my end. Like, he's in school now and they're helping him, but what do I do in the meantime when he's with me? Like, I don't have the proper training. And just going from that to an array of things. Kingston was someone that, at a very late age, was able to start toileting on his own. It took a long time, and I'm talking specifically bowel movements. And in all transparency, because I know it's somebody out there. I know there's a parent out there that may be dealing with this. And in all honesty, Kingston was 7 years old before he knew to have a bowel movement in the toilet, before he felt comfortable. And that's tough for a parent when you have a child that is still in underpants. Like, no one knows. It's like the household secret, right? And you're out in the community, and you're having to take your 7-year-old child in the bathroom stall with you, or change them in the car. it's like I said, it's a different set of emotions and learning that you have to go through. And I'm glad that stage is over, but I'm at a new stage, being that he's a teenager now. So that comes with a whole set of challenges as well. Mm-hmm.
And with him being a teen, like, I know it's kind of hard because we are so protective of
Yes.
them. How do you balance being like a overprotective mom, not even overprotective, just like super protective, and then giving him his independence, because I know he wants it.
Oh yes, 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 yes. One of the things is I really try to um, be really, really vigilant with him, really paying attention and being observant on a really deep level, especially because um, he has very minimal speech and language. So everything is not verbal. So you're watching for other things. So you have the ability to see your child and not just what they're saying. Like you really have to be connected to them, and that in itself has allowed me to gain an understanding the best way I know how to be able to give him what he needs. And he's a teenager now and he wants some freedom. And the easiest way for me, when I'm wanting him to experience something new, or maybe it's a cousin or a friend and he's like, I want to do that, and I'm like, oh, I don't really feel comfortable like with you doing that. Like, do you have the skill set to do that? And I'm processing all of these things. But at the end of the day, I don't want my fears to become his. I don't want to put a cap on him that maybe he doesn't need. So for me, what I have been doing is really just asking myself the tough question: what is the worst that can happen? If you allow him to do that, what is the worst that can happen? And if I can handle the worst, then I'm like, just go for it. Let God take the wheel and let it do what it do. Now there are some times where I'm like, I can't handle the worst. I can't do that. And then at that point, I start recalling the skill sets that I know he has, all of the time and the energy that we put into our children. Like we have to let them be able to show up when it's time for them to show up, right? And I can't keep getting in the way of that, because that's not good parenting if you're always there, right? Like providing that safety net, or preventing certain things from happening. I caught myself doing that. He's at the playground, like, don't be mean to my son. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, like it's the world. So
Yeah.
I guess how I can sum it up is, if you are, not just you, but anyone just listening, watching, if you are trying to prepare your child, then you are going to have to get out of the way. You are, to see how they show up in the world. And then at that, be able to give some feedback, like maybe next time do it like this, or you know what I mean? It's a very sensitive subject.
It really is, because I'm thinking about what you said, and I'm like, I may need to step back at the park a little bit, because he's very independent, and like he looks for me. Like if he don't see me, but I'm that parent. Like, are you saying something to my child? Like, what are
Yes.
you saying to him? And I have
Yes.
to kind of pull back from that. But I
Mhm.
also, it scares me because I know the world is really cruel. But
Oh, yes. Yes,
I
yes,
get what
yes.
you're saying. Like some adults are really mean, like when we go to the park, but I totally get your view, and I'm gonna take that and like
Mhm.
use that more and kind of back off a little bit. So
Mhm. Mhm.
you are a wife. How do you manage like your wife duties and with your son, and just how does that mesh well?
That's a great question, because you know, as a mom, we do a lot. As a wife, we do a lot. And I have two businesses, and people are like, how are you even maintaining? And it's really my self-care time. It's really me being organized. And those are the skill set that I pull from being an event coordinator, right? Like I said, life has kind of taken these turns, but I've been able to keep those skill sets and those relationships and those resources and then apply it to my new life. I'm a beast on that Google Calendar. I'm gonna tell you, I am a beast on that Google Calendar. Everything, it has its time block. My Kingston got his color. My self-care is this color. Things that I have to do today is one color. That is who I am. My son is very high functioning, and I am very high functioning as well. And you have to use tools, right? You have to be able to use tools. You have to be able to identify your resources. You have to be able to rely on your relationships. Those are the three things. Without those three things, I'm not whole. So in a day, I'm like, who can I call today to ask for some help? Or, you know what? I think that person would be a good fit for this. All of those sorts of things. So that's how I move in a day. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go into your holistic views and what you practice. At what point did you start using like your holistic options on your son, or for you? Like, what made you get into that?
Yeah. So you know what? When I thought when this question was given to me, I really had to process it because it was always really a part of my lifestyle, maybe not at the level that it is now. But like when I was younger and I used to have a headache, I wouldn't take Advil or Tylenol. You know, when I occasionally got sick, like I wasn't taking cough medicine because I didn't like the way those things made me feel during or after. So I was always like, well, just thug it out, just get through it, like, or find a herb or what. You know, I was always the one calling my granny, I got this going on. What can I use? But I don't want to get something over the counter. I want to get something maybe from like, you know, the produce section at the grocery store or whatever that looked like at the time. So that was always there for me. It just wasn't at the level that it is now. And, you know, when he received his diagnosis, there were some suggestions that were given to me on how to aid with some of his actions, or maybe like certain parts of his personality. You know, maybe you should give him this, or have you considered this? And if it wasn't natural, I said no. And the reason why I said no was because I'm like, he's not even going to be able to tell me how he feels. Like at this point, he's like little to like it's very, I don't want to say nonverbal, but it's very minimal. Like he's not able to tell me how he feels. And I'm like, it didn't resonate with me. So a lot of the decisions that I have made in living this holistic lifestyle with him, a lot of it has been just mother's intuition. Like, well, he can't really tell me how he feels. So why am I going to give him Ritalin or whatever the case may be? I'm like, no, at least if it's something natural, right? It can be something that's in his system and then it's going to go away. It's going to flush out. It's going to provide him with nutrients. So that's really always been my focus. But here, I'll end on this note in regards to that question. I wish, and there's that word, that phrase, I wish I would have taken a more holistic approach in regards to vaccines. That is just, I'm just being completely honest. That's my opinion. I wish I would have had more knowledge in regards to vaccines. That's what I would say.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think I always tell people, because it's such a icky topic,
It is.
But we also have to be realistic about it. And just, for me, I felt like even if my son would have still had autism, which I think he would have, I feel like the vaccines kind of triggered it and upped it more to what it would have been.
Yes.
And that's just my opinion of it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so
here's what I would say, because I'm not a physician. A physician and a holistic practitioner is very different. But what I will say is, what I did have was my immunization records as a child, and I compared it to his. And I mean side by side. And at minimum, what I saw was an influx in the number of vaccines in a short amount of time. And the first thing I thought was, why? Why did I not look before, while the doctors were suggesting that he needed X, Y, and Z on these particular days? Why didn't I go back to my archives? Why didn't I go back and use my resources and at least question it? I just did what the doctor told me to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Even my mom said that once. She was like, how many vaccines he got today? I was like 4. She was like, So she didn't say nothing that time. And the second time, she was like, how many did he get this time? And I was like, 3. And she was like, spread it out. Like, if that's the case, spread it out. Because he just felt like, why are they giving them that many vaccines at one time? She was like, you got one at a time when you were younger. So, but people have their opinions, and I'm like, we're entitled to our opinions because
that's right.
We watch our kids, which leads me into this question. Gut health, because you and I, we talked about that. I know I made a comment on Threads one day, and I just was like, I had to take certain foods away from my son because I could see the difference in his behavior. And someone was like, well, it doesn't, the food doesn't have anything to do with autism. Like, you're making that up. And I'm like, okay, because that's my experience. Like, I'm not going to go back and forth. When I know what I've experienced, and when I took that certain item from him, I saw a difference in his behavior. How important do you think gut health is when it comes to like autism and the behaviors?
Yes. Specifically, well, here's what I will say. It's very important because at minimum, any physician or anyone that has had gut issues, if you do your reading, you will find out that the gut and the brain have a connection. They have a relationship. And on a simplistic level, what I would say is, imagine that you had to be at school and your stomach hurt for whatever reason. Either you have to go and maybe you need to take a bowel movement, or you can't, but you feel constipated. Maybe you just experiencing, there's just a bubbling in your stomach, and you're in class. And if you're 5 years old, 6, however old you are, even as an adult, when your stomach is not right, your brain don't work the same, because all you're thinking about is, my stomach hurt, I don't feel good. But then you have the teacher asking you to do this, and then you wonder where behaviors come from. And then I can't tell you that I don't feel good. So it's one thing, it's like a train, and it's like all of these things are hooked up. But what's at the front of the train? It's this issue with my stomach. So for me, that information came later. What I saw was my son would consume certain foods, and it would give him severe diarrhea. And then a day or two later, he would be constipated. And at minimum, I'm like, how is it going from here to here? How is it doing that? Something's not right. And literally, I have no idea how many times me and his father had to take him to the hospital to get him an enema. This is before he's like 6, 7 years old. He's still like a toddler. He's still a baby. And I'm like, something has got to be wrong. And none of these physicians knew what was wrong. So I started doing some reading, and that's when I learned about gut health. And I learned about something called leaky gut, where your colon is not all the way developed enough so that when you're consuming the food, it leaks out of your gut. It's not going through your colon as it should. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Well, how can we heal this? And then the book gave me all of these different recipes for healing his gut. Keep in mind, he's not even 5 yet, but I'm like, let me try it. It's worth a try. It's natural. I'm thinking, what is the worst that can happen? It's natural foods, right? Well, Kingston consumed organic bone broth 3 times a day. That was really his meal. And I would hear naysayers, he's not getting enough. And I'm like, he may not be getting enough, but he getting what he need. I need my child to have a colon that is optimal as best as it can be. So if I have to do that first in order for him to eat other things, then that's what I have to do. So I came in the house one day and threw away all the junk food, everything. I was like, it was everything out of the cabinets. Go, 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 go. And it wasn't just a change for him, because any changes that I have made for him, I've made for myself as well. So we just started eating better, but he's 16 and we're getting ready to embark upon a new journey, because I'm like, I want you to widen your palate. I want you to be able to eat other things, right? I don't want you to feel like you always have to eat the same thing. So we are on our journey of exploring foods. So it's an ongoing battle, but it's one that him and I will continue to do, to make sure that he is in optimal health.
Love that so much. And did you get a lot of pushback from others? Because I know you said they were saying he wasn't getting enough. Did you receive any other type of pushback?
Me and his father kept that to ourselves for a long time, because sometimes I feel like too early on parents involve too many people, and ultimately this decision is the parents' decision. Yeah. So for us, we came to that conclusion. And then after we really started to see some progress, then at that point is when we started telling people, because at that point the school started to notice, and his after school program started to notice, right? And then the doctor started to notice. So a lot of times, if you want to avoid any discouragement or redirection, sometimes you just can't tell people what you're doing, and you have to. I spoke to my mom. I spoke to my granny, who has been in the healthcare industry for many years. You seek your counsel, whoever those people that's really that really has that child's best interest at heart, right? And you let them know, this is what I'm trying to do. What do you think? And there were even some taboo things that we tried, and that I knew at the time that if I were to tell people, they would be like, you're crazy. But that craziness, right? That craziness, sometimes that extra push, that one thing that that certain individuals that live a particular lifestyle may think is weird. Well, it's herbs have helped heal a lot of the issues that my son was dealing with and suffering from.
I love that. I'm trying to get there. I think I'm more nervous. Like, is he gonna eat? That's my biggest concern. I'm like, I want to take all of this away, but so I'm like gradually pulling things out. But it makes me really nervous. But I do want what's best for him, and I do believe like his gut health is like really important, and I wish more people would understand that. So let's talk about you, because this is Confessions of an Autism Mom, and I'd love to talk about self-care. How do you balance self-care for yourself? I know you said your Google Calendar and your tools. So how do you balance?
I love being out in nature. I got my plants around me. It's something that I take care of, and I watch it grow. And it's the slow down for me, because being a business owner times two, homeschooling my son. I got behaviorists running in and out of my house 2 days out of the week. He has programming virtually and outside of the home. It's always go, go, go. So for me, it's the solitude. It's my me time to gather myself. It's that quiet time where I don't have to worry about someone else's thoughts or needs. And it's connecting to nature that allows me to do that. Whether it's just sitting outside in the sun by the water, watering my plants, but it's that solitude, quiet time. It is what allows me to be focused enough to make the best decisions for my son. Mm-hmm.
And what advice? Because when I talk about self care and like how for me, if I get 5 minutes, I'm happy. What is
Mm-hmm.
your advice to parents that say, "Oh, I don't have any time"? Because I feel like it's even 2 or 3 minutes work
Yes.
for me. You know?
Yeah. And if I were to hear a parent say that I don't have the time, you know what? I'm gonna grab some right here. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. So this says, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. I keep this right on my desk. Period.
Because that's
Period.
the
That's
truth.
it. Because you can't pour, you can't keep pouring into a child, into a husband, and into a business and not pour back into yourself. You're gonna run on empty. You're gonna run on empty. And that's part of my holistic practice, is getting women to understand that self-care is it can be a choice, but it shouldn't, because the
Yeah.
only thing that we should really be doing is caring for ourselves. It's a lot to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. That's one person. And then you have a child or children, and then you have to do that for them too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you're looking at your life in its totality, you better make sure you carve out some time for self, if you're trying to give the best of yourself to your child, to your husband, to your community. Yes.
Yes. I 100% agree. Because I just feel like that's something you have to make time for. Like,
You do.
because it was a time period I didn't make time for myself.
Mhm.
Like, I was doing for everybody but me, but I found myself like, to me, it lowers your self esteem. You
It
forget who
does.
you are. Like, it's just so many levels to it. And the past 5 months, I have more so been diving into self care, what it is, how I can get it. And I really love to push moms to get it because I feel
Mhm.
so much better now that I'm pouring back into myself more.
Yes.
Um, how has your mindset evolved over time? And what I mean by that, as I mentioned earlier, you got your son diagnosis in a time where 13 years ago, autism wasn't talked about as much. If it was really not known, because I don't
Hmm.
remember it 16 years ago,
Hmm.
13 years ago, I don't even remember hearing about it as much as I do now. So, how has that changed for you?
That is very accurate. Right around the time of my son's diagnosis, there was, I don't remember what the statistic was, but it was pretty high. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Um, and as I mentioned, I had worked with children on the spectrum before, but in the grand scheme of things, I was really uneducated, right? And like I said, I was moving a lot off of my instincts. Talking to family, and a lot of times I felt like, am I being a guinea pig? Am I treating my son like a guinea pig? Like I'm trying this and trying this and trying that. And that was something that came up a lot for me.
Okay.
And um, I feel more confident now. I feel more confident now because I've seen the growth. And when we got to give ourselves grace, we got to give ourselves grace because we spend so much time doing the thing, teaching our children how to speak, um, teaching them daily living skills,
Yeah.
um, um, having them understand their emotions. We're in the thick of it, like always, like go, 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 go. So a lot of times it's hard for us to see the progress because we're in it every day. And that pause, that time that I take for self, that time where it's just like, it's just mommy and Sunday. Like there's plenty of times where it's like, you know what, King? We're gonna play hooky from school today. We're going to the movies, honey. Right? Like whatever that is, it's those moments where you're not on duty, right? Because it always feels like you're always on duty. Um, those are the times that allow you to be grateful and really understand because they are moving at a different pace, right?
Right.
And it may take them longer to do other things, but those are also the times where we get to see their gifts and get to see the things that they are absolutely like a genius about that the average person wouldn't be able to do. I watch my son, I can throw 500-piece puzzle on the table right now and he can put that thing together like lickety split. That's a gift to be able to see the whole picture, right? And pieces and be able to put that thing together. It's looking at their characteristics in a different way. It's looking at their abilities in a beautiful way and not in a challenging way. And that is something that I'm like, oh, I thank God. Like you got to slow down enough to be able to smell the roses and be able to see what we've done thus far, right?
I love that because I'm not doing a 500 puzzle ever. Somebody put that on the table, and I'm gonna look at it like.
Listen, not for me. Me either. Me either.
I can't like it, and I agree. Like I realized I was moving so fast one day. My son picked up his tablet and he opened his game and he's just playing it, and I'm like, "You're 4. How do you know how to do this?" And I realized that I don't take enough time to appreciate the things that he do. Like you say, I'm constantly like, learn this, or hey, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say this? Getting him to say a word that I can't focus on what he is doing. So you're absolutely right about that. I love your viewpoint with that. What advice would you give us moms that are looking to change our kids' diet? Because I personally don't know where to start. Like I say, I remove something often, like in a 2-month period, because I'm like, is he gonna eat?
Yeah. And there's so much content, right? Especially like on social media. It's like it's always just coming at you.
Right.
I'm old school. I like to read. I like to pick up a book and read. I like to put on an Audible. I at that time I was searching for doctors that had a track record, a proven track record of gut knowledge, right? Of brain knowledge, different foods that our children can eat that's going to feed their brain. It's giving their brain energy, right? It's giving their brain nutrients. What are those things that we can put in their stomach? It doesn't mean to say that they're going to eat like that all the time, but at minimum, if we can give, it's still stuff to this day I sneak in my son's drink like he don't even know. It is mushroom powder, but he don't need to know, right? Because if he sees me preparing it, he's completely like turned off by the color, by the smell. He is like, he got a nose like a bloodhound, I'm telling you. So I have always had to be very creative, right? But I'm like, I have to give him what he needs. I have to give my child what they need. And for me, it goes back to the reading and the regional center that my son is connected with. They have been great. They have been great at providing various courses, websites on various different things. So we all about our resources over here.
That's amazing. And you have to be with this. You really have to dive into the resources. All right, so as we come to an end, which I have truly enjoyed speaking with you because
Um,
you give a different viewpoint versus, a lot of parents are like, just let them eat what they want to eat. And I'm like, yeah, that don't work over here. Not in this
right.
house. So I love the viewpoints that you gave us today, how you balance self-care. What is your confession as an autism mom?
Yes, here is my confession, and I answered this very quickly. Um, I once used to carry deep, deep guilt over my son's diagnosis. Could nobody on this earth tell me it wasn't my fault? Could nobody tell me that? But that guilt was not of service to me or him. But advocating for him, fighting for his needs, speaking to others, like how we're doing here, and really just creating a world for him to be embraced for who he is. These are all beautiful children. They all have something very, very special to offer their families, their communities, to the world. And that guilt is not mine anymore. It don't even exist. And I know there's a lot of parents that deal with that, and it was deep. It was deep. But that is my confession. Turn your guilt into advocacy for your child, because that's what they need.
Oh, thank you. Because I think a lot of us still deal with the guilt. You
Yes.
know, a lot of us still sit and I know for me, I'm like, what was I doing during my pregnancy? Like, why
Mhm.
was I like this? Or what did
Yep.
I eat? Like, a lot of us reflect back, and a lot of people make us feel bad because we have that mom guilt. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's okay to go through it, but I find it myself like talking about it makes
Yes.
me feel better about it.
Yeah, this is a
Um,
healing experience that you've created
yeah,
here, for sure.
thank
Mhm.
you. Yeah, because I noticed it's therapeutic, and I
Mhm.
also know a lot of spaces moms aren't get able to say what they want to say without feeling judged. And I want
Yes.
people to be able to say how they truly feel and what they go through without judgment. And you've done that for us today.
Thank you.
Your talk is amazing. Like you gave out some really nice pointers, and I love that. And you
Thank you.
even talked about how even people gave you a little pushback, and you were just like, "No, we kept it to ourselves." So you were comfortable with your decision before you put it out there. And sometimes we need to hear things like that because I see a lot of parents asking like, do y'all like this or do you like that or how is ABA therapy or how is this? And sometimes you don't need the negative input. You need to do what you
No. What
do.
what you need is just what you need is to be able to have a compassionate conversation. So then
Right.
as a parent, you can collect all the information from all of these different people, and then you can decide what's best for you and your child and your lifestyle. A lot of times we're kept from the information. We don't have enough. So we feel like, oh, we have to do it like that because that's how everybody else is doing it. So
Yeah.
just be a data collector, collect information from different parents, from resource centers, from teachers, and then process it and figure out how does this fit or maybe doesn't fit in my child's life.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. So tell everyone where they can find you on social media. I'm also going to put it in the description, you all, because her page, when I go to her page, it's so peaceful.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
just
Thank
full
you.
of
Thank
peace. So
you.
can you tell everyone where they can find you?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, almost. I'm coming, y'all. I'm about to be everywhere. It
Come
is,
on.
it is Kay LaShell Sacred Healing. Kay LaShell Sacred Healing. Yes.
Perfect. And y'all, like I say, I will put that in the description. Thank you for sharing your
Thank
journey. Thank
you.
you for sharing your different skill sets, how you navigated with your son. Would you do an amazing job? And I love to give my moms flowers and kudos to you because you got the diagnosis when it was a period where it wasn't talked about like this, like I
Mhm.
mentioned early. And so I can't imagine how y'all felt because it wasn't discussed and social
Yes.
media wasn't like that back then. So I have to give you your claps and loves and
Thank you.
hugs
Thank you. Thank you.
for
Thank
being
you.
able to get to this point to help us new moms, because we really do need you all, and
That's right.
you all play a very important role, because you were there when you didn't really probably have all of the resources
Mhm.
and all of the different stories, so you all are giving it from your heart. It's genuine, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, so we appreciate you all so much,
Thank
and we
you so
appreciate
much.
you for your story. So you all, we thank Miss Kay for coming on, and leave her some love in the comments. Also, share this with friends that have kids on the spectrum, because she does talk about holistic ways and gut health, and I think that's important for everyone to hear. So make sure you all also follow her on her platforms. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video, like I said. And we will see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.